Hey everybody, welcome back to You're So Fucking Enlightened. I'm Robbin Webb.
I'm Jeanie Baker.
We're so glad you're here.
So glad you're here. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like it and subscribe wherever the button is on there.
Yep, because then that will help us to be able to afford to hire someone to edit all of the dog barking out of our videos. Because this is the third time we've tried to record this video and the dogs barked both times at the beginning. So anyway, thank y'all for joining us.
We are on series 3 of 4 of our spinning of the wheels, energy centers, the chakras. Last episode, we did the physical world chakras, the first, second, and third up the midline. And today we're going to cover what is known as the spiritual world energy centers, these spinning wheels of energies that govern different systems of the body and different physical balances and imbalances, as well as emotional, mental, energetic, and spiritual. We're going to talk about the throat today, our source of communication, our third eye, the source of our intuition and psychic abilities, and our crown, which is that governance of oneness.
All right.
Yeah,
awesome.
baby.
But first, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
I'm doing great, yeah. So you guys are going to be watching this more probably in February. Yeah. And we are just now on January 3rd.
Today is January 2nd.
January 2nd.
Yeah, so it's we are in the new year. And I guess, like, for all intents and purposes, February is still pretty much the new year. Everybody's still kind of in that motivated phase of, like, that new year energy type of thing.
Yep. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I hope everybody got to spend it doing exactly what brings you joy. We didn't do anything.
Yeah. I've seen sunset for the last 2 days, which makes my heart really happy.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you went and saw the sunset. We, my husband and I went to a football game on New Year's Eve. But, like, for the nighttime New Year's ball dropping, we had a little house party, which is that was not of 3.
Yeah. So. and also there's always, like, themes of the new year, right? And I usually receive a download sometime mid-December. This theme this year is simplify, and so maybe we'll do a future podcast about what that means for you. But that's something just to plant a seed for you for your year, talking about intentions and give you a little bit more insight to your life. Yeah,
that'd be cool. And so we talked about the chakras last week. If you want to learn about the base or root chakra, sacral chakra, and solar plexus, go back to our prior video from last week. Now we're going to skip over, and so we're slowly moving up the body. We're skipping over the heart because we're going to come back to that one and do a podcast strictly just on the heart. And we're going to move into the throat chakra today.
Yes. So spiritual world energy centers. We talked about the physical world, the lower half of the body. Now we're going to get up into the upper half of the body. And so we can eat the color, we can wear the color, we can visualize the color to help us activate, open, heal, transform our energy centers from the inside out. Because we're really talking about the unseen world, right? We might notice things in our physical world with our energy centers, but we're really getting into the unseen world. So let's talk about the throat.
Okay. The throat color is blue.
Yes. And it is all source of expression and communication.
Yep. And it is located in your throat, your neck, thyroid, mouth, your shoulders.
Yep. Your jaw. Your teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some people even the ears. It really depends.
Maybe like
the
the sinus connection
the
thing.
Sinuses, And so for those of you looking at YouTube, if you kind of look the space between your collarbones, that base right there of your throat, that is the activation center of your throat chakra. And when we talk about, like, all forms of expression and all forms of communication, that is also your thoughts. So
Mhm.
this governs your thoughts,
Mhm.
this governs your listening, this governs your expression of how you reveal yourself to the world, and also your verbal communication.
Yeah. Okay. So, the sound for the throat chakra is hum.
Mm-hmm.
It's hum. All of the chakras have a sound and are a certain vibration. And the throat chakra is hum. So, in a perfect world, when our throat chakra is balanced,
We are speaking our truth in kindness.
we are speaking our truth in kindness. We are speaking, we're able to stand up for ourselves and express our needs and our wants.
Yep.
We're also able to listen to other people's
Yep.
needs and wants.
Yep.
So it's not only communicating. Communication is talking and listening. It's not just
Exactly.
talking. So that is part of it as well. So what else?
It's also authenticity. And so it's truly knowing who you are and all the parts of yourself. So
Yeah.
a lot of times in life we can move about the world and shadow, camouflage, hide some of the parts.
Yeah.
So the throat chakra, when it is fully activated and balanced, we are really in all forms of ourselves and all of the parts. Whether those parts scare us, right, or we have fear about them, we can also honor them and love them.
Yeah, yeah. And another way to look at it too is like at the other end of the spectrum. Like we talked about being able to speak our truth and stand up for ourselves and listen to others' needs and wants. But also, we talk about how, there may be the meeker side of it, or where there's it's imbalanced on one end of the spectrum. It can also be imbalanced on the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, just
Maybe you
deficiency.
yell.
Yeah, exactly.
You yell and you scream at people.
Excess, yes.
Yeah. So, or maybe you gossip.
Yes.
Or you talk shit about people all the time, or you could really just speak in just ugly.
Yeah, and when I was younger, I was a fighter and I was a yeller. I had a lot of anger. So anybody listening or watching, if you have a lot of anger, that can really show up in our forms of expression.
Yeah.
Or if you have issues of control where things are just what I say, like lying on the surface, where small things really fucking piss you off, and then you just kind of like go off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is all part of the throat chakra.
Yeah. Yeah. So, So what does it look like? We sort of talked about how it's balanced and imbalanced just now.
Yeah.
So, what are some things that we can do? Like let me read the questions too that I have on my list of what can point to imbalances. Questions that can point to imbalances. Do I often fail to keep promises? How can I improve this? Do I ever use my words to hurt others? Or do I use them to empower others? Am I expressing myself honestly? Do others see me as aggressive or overbearing? Do I find it hard to speak up for myself? Do I dominate conversations? Yeah, that's a big one too. Do I live in a way that's true to my core beliefs and values? Do I lack inspiration? Do I feel connected to my spirituality?
Yeah, these are beautiful questions.
Yeah. So if any of those resonate with you, and this is a day-to-day thing, because this is not something that you might experience every single moment of every day. And some days you may be able to assert yourself and tell your needs better than others. Some days you may be really excited about something, so you're not a great listener because you really have a lot to express. So we're talking about patterns, not like me not being able to listen to you because I just had some really awful shit happen to me. Like that is not
right.
Yeah, we're talking about something that's like an ongoing pattern.
And also, with the energy centers, just like we talked about with the root, like when in doubt, heal the root, like go to your foundation. This is about the dance with the human and the spirit. So every day that we are in self-awareness and intentional about also what we can't see, the energy about this, because also like the throat chakra is super interesting. So I'm going to turn 50 this year in May, And all of my friends between about like 44, 45 and 50, like 354, they're all going through throat chakra stuff right now. And that started last year. And I know when I was younger, like I've always spoke truth, like always. I've had a gift where like I can see truth for people, even if they don't see it for themselves. And I used to speak the truth. But after about the 400th person that said, Jeanie, you know, you do speak truth and we get that. But sometimes you can come off a little aggressive. Yeah. You know, a little unkind.
Yeah.
And it took like literally like the 400th person to say that to me, where I was like, fuck, man, there is obviously
there's
some
a
truth
pattern
in that.
Yeah.
Because I've created a pattern.
Yeah.
And so I had to look at myself and start to understand like where and why where that's coming from.
Yeah.
I still had a lot of anger that I start to uncover.
Yeah.
Which is also, that's one of my shadows that now I embrace.
Yeah.
And have different outlets.
Yeah.
But then now I can speak truth and also be kind. Because also my work in the world is to be able to support women into their authenticity. And I'm only able to do that because of the work I've done on myself. So that's part of this chakra.
Right.
Is that wisdom that comes through.
It's wisdom, and it's not know-it-all wisdom. That's one of the things that, you know, we want to be upfront about. Like, we're offering tools that we have used that have been helpful to us.
Yeah, this is about good judgment.
Yeah.
Good judgment, truthfulness, belief in yourself.
Yeah.
This is about that, to stand in your power.
Yeah. I mean, chakras have been incredible for you for healing purposes.
Yes.
So you are able to share that knowledge with others.
Yes.
And so for me, I have not really dug into, I think I talked about it in the other video. I can't remember how deep I went into it.
Yeah.
But, you know, you learn about it in yoga training, and you might, you know, do some chakra meditation and that sort of thing. And I resonate with the sounds a lot of the chakras. But like there are certain aspects of the chakras that I have not really utilized in my own healing journey. I'm not opposed to them, but for me, that is just, they have not at this point, up until this point, been a part of my healing journey. So I don't feel like I have a lot to share about as much, I guess, experience to share with the chakras as you do. But, you know, I am already at a basic 101 level. Yeah. And so I can share the 101 level.
Yeah. Yeah, the real life experience. So I lived in Costa Rica for 7 years, and I was having some like soreness in my throat. And so I'm all about like, keep it simple, like eat it, wear it, visualize it, and starting with the color. So this color is blue. And I was like in my bikini, walking the beach, and wrapped a blue scarf around my neck. I did this for about 3 days. And then it went away. And so for me, it's like real life, like putting simple tools in. So one of the things you can also do for this energy center. And so we're always kind of reviewing, right? We're always healing. We're always transforming, right? So we also have to feel. That's a key component. Yeah. So this chakra is all about that outer reality too. So our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions create our reality. So this chakra also is really, really a part of that. Yeah. I also have, like you talked about the ages, and I am, you know, I turned 44 last year, and I started to come into that as well. I did experience, you know, it's not that I experienced anything new. I just realized what I needed to heal in my throat chakra, and that is being assertive, standing up for myself, speaking my truth. You know, I think a lot of women experience one end of the spectrum, because we're always kind of told, don't be too loud, don't be quiet, people are going to judge you, these kinds of things, and to not be able to speak into our truths. And it's sort of like, and I think men are almost, society expects them to be on the other end of the spectrum and to be assertive. And sometimes men are like in a healthy, assertive way, and sometimes they're not in a healthy, assertive way, and they're a little overbearing. And so that it can kind of be on both ends of the spectrum. But for me, it was definitely on the one that women typically go into. You went to more on the masculine side, I think. So I went to more, So, so I just started coming into that a little bit. And for me, my healing
what I did was I played the bowl. And I started just saying a little bit, which I like to sing, even though I'm not a great singer, but I enjoy it. So I was alone and I felt very comfortable doing it. And I was able to like play the bowl, and I chanted a little bit, and it was helpful to me.
Yeah, for sure.
It made me feel empowered.
Yeah, chanting, singing, all parts of opening and activating. There's a lot of us, I don't know if your mom ever said this, but my mom communicated to me, children are to be seen and not heard.
Yeah, sure.
That is the belief system that I grew up in. And so I remember, going intentionally into my healing and really understanding like the impact that phrase had on me. And now the women that I work with, understanding like little things that like may not be little to ourselves, right? These small, like, what was that, 5 words, right? That can have such a great impact in us, and we can camouflage who we are on our voice. And now, like, in social media especially, like, it's this thing about like, I see you, I hear you, right? It's like that thing, right? Like, that's super trending, but there's some truth in that. Yeah. To really be seen and be heard in this world. Yeah. Yeah. So other things that we can do, eat it, wear it, visualize it. We can chant, right? Hum, right? We can also sing. We can write. So creative writing, journaling, whatever you want to call that. We can answer specific questions. We can also do some like open mouth breathing, like in and out. So you really, and you really, really activate. I get chills when I do that. Yeah. And it can certainly feel awkward if you have a blocked throat chakra. Oh, for sure. I remember my first chanting class. I was like, oh, hell no. Yeah. It can certainly feel awkward. It can. On the other end of the spectrum, you can practice silence. It's true. Yeah. If you think that maybe if you have been, like you were told that you are overly assertive, or maybe just not. Being assertive and being kind is not the same thing. So you can be assertive and be kind at the same time. Exactly. Yeah, so if you, like today, like just notice, are you in a space where when someone speaks, like you allow them to have full space? Are you interjecting like all the time? If that is a pattern you've created, silence is a really good practice to start to balance, to come from one spectrum and kind of bring it over. Yeah. And so I want to talk about humming and like the bee. Like, so the bee hums. So you can also hum. You can do this in a group setting. I do this on some of my retreats. But you can also hum and activate the throat chakra there, which is like a beautiful, beautiful practice, and also helps to relax the nervous system. Yeah. And I've also heard that instruments can be helpful too. Playing an instrument. Physically, though, there are a couple things you can do, because sometimes if you do have, it can also manifest in our physical world in your shoulders, neck, jaw, just your muscles. Yes. If this is constantly tight, like mine is, you may want to explore your throat chakra. Mine, and get massages. That's helpful too. Massages. Certain yoga poses can help. Anything that activates your shoulders and neck and opens and compresses. So shoulder stands, wheel will open, or the camel pose will open. Fish will open your throat. Also, to compress can be the plow or the shoulder stand, that sort of thing. And it's funny because I've always really loved all of those poses. I mean, I can't do wheel anymore because of my shoulder, but I can still do the plow. That help that. And so, I love the fish. Yes, I like the fish. I even like the camel. And I've always loved those because I don't know. It's like one of those things. I love them obviously because that's blocked in me. Yeah. So. And so trust is also, before we move on, trust is also governed here. Which is a big one. I mean, it forms in the root chakra, like our relationship with trust. Yeah. But it fully activates in here. And so also there is an affirmation and mantra of I speak in here. And so also I speak truth. I speak trusting. I speak love.
Yeah.
I speak.
Yeah. Intentions. My intentions. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, like, I'm always revisiting, like, you know, all the time. Yeah. Peppermint tea also. So with foods, you can do anything that's savory. So stews and soups, teas, hot chocolate, anything like that is also supportive for the throat.
I like that throat coat.
Throat coat. I like the throat coat too, actually. It's really, really
that
good.
That tea that you get. I think it's Yogi makes it.
I think. And I do traditional medicines.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that is kind of, you know, in a kind of a nutshell, some information for you for the throat chakra, for your communication, for your self-expression, and for your authenticity to move in this life and trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so just like we did with the lower chakras, this is all about that gradients, right? So just like the rainbow, it's like every energy center is supportive of one another as well, and they all work together. It's one of the reasons why we're going to do the heart on the next one, because the heart is the home of everybody.
Yeah.
So think about like the spiritual world. So we're coming to the throat, and now we're going to come into the third eye.
The third eye. Om.
Yes, Om. And if for those of you watching on YouTube or listening, if you take your two fingers, pointer finger, middle finger on either hand, you can go to the bridge of your nose and then kind of start to go up towards your forehead, and you'll start to feel usually like an indent or like a hood. And some of it might be a little sore.
Yeah, mine's right here.
Yeah, and so mine's right here. And depending on where your people come from the world, everyone's third eye is in a different place. So I love doing that two finger practice to see where it is. And you can also tap there. So you can tap to start to open up that psychic power, your intuition, your inner wisdom, and to open your visualization into trusting the unseen world.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that color is purple. I wore that today.
Yeah. Or like indigo. What is between blue and violet, that's what I have for my thing. So you might see it different ways.
Yeah, everyone sees it differently, and again, we talked about that in the first episode with the energy centers of people who wrote these books are people who are living their life experience, and it's their truth for them.
Yeah.
So also, it's like as you open your third eye and as you like work with your third eye to trust your intuition and to go with like your instincts, it's going to create your own experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. This is really beautiful. I think this is a really beautiful chakra. It's really connects us to our intuition, to our higher selves.
Yep.
It really helps to bring like meaning to life, I think. So in a balanced, most perfect world, our why is it going out of my mind that our third eye chakra is, well, you might not have, you might feel connected to your intuition.
Yes.
And you might have a purpose. You might have a really good sense of your own purpose.
Yes.
Yeah. And you might feel like your life is meaningful.
Yes.
And not meaningless.
And you also believe what you can't see.
Yeah.
So that's part of a balanced third eye.
Yeah. You believe. Yeah.
You
definitely.
You trust in the intangible.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really important. And so if you're out of balance, you might be anxious or depressed.
Yeah.
You might not be able to trust that there is a higher power or that there's something outside of us. You might have difficulty concentrating. You might have scattered thoughts. You might not have a sense. You can't hear any inner voice, or maybe it's very, very faint.
Yeah. And also so there is this beautiful fine line about hallucinations and visions. Because I have seen, actually this morning, I woke up in the middle of the night and there was a dead person in the room, but I wasn't in my room, my bedroom. I was in another room. Scared the shit out of me. I mean, I've seen dead people since I was younger. But I was telling Robbin,
this was an actual dead person. Like, you didn't see a person that had died and had come to you in your dreams alive.
Yeah, it was
this person was dead in
the room, in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have been on my healing journey for a while, and part of this was reopening the center to trust this process. And, you know, I even said this morning, like, okay, when I'm asleep and this happens, like, it jars me. Do you know what I mean? When I wake up and, like, see a dead person in the corner, it takes me back a little bit. I feel like I'm, you know, not in my body. I'm in that dream state.
Yeah.
And so there's a fine line with this chakra and the dance with it of being like hallucinations and visions, because a lot of us, when we open up our third eye, we start to see into the future. We can see into the past. I can see energy lines on the body. I see auras. I see colors. And so there is like where, for me, it's so important for us to stay grounded in our bodies on the earth while opening the third eye. So a lot of people want to do a lot of astral traveling, you know.
Yeah.
And we can do that and also get back in our body. So this is, you know, like schizophrenia, like this also starts to come into the brain.
If you don't know what astral traveling is, like, this is...
Yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm not getting into it. I only know a little bit about it. I'm waiting for them to come and take me, but they haven't yet, so I'm waiting.
And so also part of this chakra is, so if you have been disconnected from your dreams, so also opening up and working on this chakra can also bring back the dreamland for you and the dream realms. So a fun fact about this chakra is the decalcification of it, and there's certain foods that you can use and eat to help calcify. So we live in a world right now where chemicals are everywhere. Like, I try to eat everything organic, and even also with that being said is, you know, the environments, like there's chemicals everywhere. So we're always like cleaning ourselves out, if you will. Well, this third eye is directly affected by chemicals. So the more that we ingest chemicals in our lives, the more that this third eye starts it calcifies. And so the center of the pineapple and also avocados are a really good way to eat our way and open up our third eye. And this is also about free thinking. So if we tend to be a leader or a follower, free thinking, where you also have your own thoughts and your own opinions versus just go with what other people say. This is also part of that chakra.
And I think all of these will resonate with all of us a little bit.
For sure. Yeah.
Because we're all imbalanced. All of us have imbalances.
Every day.
Every single day.
All day, every day.
Right.
All day, every day.
Right. And so this is just another, if in extreme circumstances, there are ways that you can use this to heal things that, like, past trauma experiences or patterns that have created an unhealthy life or unhealthy patterns. Anything that brings, like, if you are noticing that you don't like anything about your life, like if you're noticing, like, I don't like this about my life, or this is really, let's say I have really bad trust issues, so I'm not able to have a good relationship with anybody, friends, lovers, whatever, or I have really not connected to my intuition. I'm always asking people for advice because I'm not able to dig inside of myself to come up with answers ever. I'm always asking and getting, reassurance from people about my decisions and that sort of thing, and not trusting yourself. And if these things have created something in your life where you feel uncomfortable with, that's when you look into, activating these healing modalities.
So I'm actually going to disagree.
Okay.
Yeah, because we are constantly moving in the world. And so if I'm going to do a speaking event, I can wear the color blue to support my throat. So it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be an extreme or a trauma.
Okay.
This can be a daily thing where you like you can go to a meditation class.
I think what I was trying to say was you might want to go deeper into like, maybe jumping on board with somebody that is able to guide you and heal, in this type of healing.
Word.
But for general maintenance,
yes,
there are other ways to bring these modalities into your life.
For sure. For sure. If you know you've created patterns and it is directly affecting your life and the choices that you make or the stagnant life that you
might
created.
Want to deep dive into this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and you holler at your girl because I can
she's
support you for sure.
Yeah.
But and also you can, you can play around, if you will, and create fun, with the energy centers of wearing that. So the next time you go to a meditation, if you tend to like really float out and just go somewhere else, maybe try to explore the color red in the root chakra to really stay in your body next time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the third eye.
If you want to do that in your meditation, I guess it's dependent on what your goal of meditation is.
Yeah.
Because I like floating somewhere else in my meditations.
Yeah, and also being supportive of being back in your body. So that is, this is something where, talking about the spiritual world is a lot of people now want to disconnect from their human body and live in that world.
Oh, yeah, like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, for me, meditation is, I don't live there. I take a little break from the world, which I'm connected to all of the time. And I like to, for me, when I meditate, I enjoy when I get to a place where I am outside of it, because then I feel like I'm able to, when I come back into my body, I have answers.
Yeah.
So that's
beautiful.
Yeah. So that's why so.
Which is a little bit of astral projecting.
I guess that's the name for it. I don't even know what that shit is. I mean, I've had conversations with people, and I'm like, it's not that I deny that it's happening for people, but for me, it has not happened yet. So, I guess it has.
Yeah, she's waiting on that extreme part where the aliens come down and take her somewhere. We talked about that. Yeah, exactly.
Where are those motherfuckers? Guys, I'm ready. I guess I'm ready. Just hit me. I just want to know what's happening.
I love it.
All right. Questions that can point to imbalances related to the third eye chakra.
Yeah.
Am I generally able to see the bigger picture? How might I see it better? Can I hear my ego speaking? Are my heart and mind in agreement? And I love that one.
Word.
Because that's the connection of your heart space and your mind, which is basically your sacred feminine energy talking to your sacred masculine energy. And is
everybody dancing?
Everybody's dancing together, right?
Exactly.
So, do I set my standards too high? If not, could I achieve more with concerted effort? So I think that is really...
where nothing is ever good enough.
Nothing is ever good enough. Yeah.
If it's too hot, right?
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, fuck, it's so hot. And then the rain comes and it creates pressure.
It's too fucking wet.
Now it's too fucking wet. You can't do anything.
Like, too wet. Yeah.
We all know those people.
Yep.
Yeah.
How could life be better, and how could I work toward this? So this is really just being aware, I think. Aware of how you feel about your life.
Yes.
And a lot of people aren't aware of how they feel about their life. They're just going from day to day, kind of numbing yourself through TV, through internet, through social media, through work, through sex, through shopping, alcohol, drugs, shopping, gambling, you name it, we're numbing. So we all do that in a way because, like you like to watch TV at the end of the day. Yeah. I like TV too, but I love TikTok. So I scroll on TikTok and see my dogs and my spiritual TikToks and all that kind of stuff. But like it's a balance, right? And so, how could you just have to be aware of how that is making you feel and how it's affecting your life.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about yoga poses for this.
Okay. So, yoga poses for third eye. Anything that is balancing, because this really helps you connect to your breath. And a lot of times you will use a drishti or a focus place or focus spot for a balancing pose, which is where you've probably heard people say, pick a small spot on the floor or the wall and stare at it. It helps you with balancing. That is just really kind of helps you get focused. And another one would be child's pose, or anything where you're laying on the ground and you can put your forehead on the ground and you can kind of roll your forehead back and forth and activate your third eye chakra. Headstand is also one.
Yeah.
Which I don't do.
Yeah. I took that out of my practice too a while back for my neck.
Yeah.
To support my neck.
It's always been too much on my neck. I can do a supported headstand in those, I forgot what you call them now, but you put your head down in it and your shoulders rest up.
Oh, you like the open chair things?
Yeah, the open chair thing. Yeah. So I can get up in one of those. I just don't like the compression that it makes on my neck.
Yes, yeah,
and that shit is for 20-year-olds.
And also it's like,
or
being
people
able to
that
say,
don't have a lot of weight at the bottom of their body.
Word, and we both do have
Yeah.
that I get a little junk in the trunk.
Got that ass.
Yeah, babe. So also the mantra affirmation for this is I see. I see. So it's interesting, like the physical eyes are part of this energy center, but also that third eye, the unseen. So the seen world and the unseen world.
Yeah.
And so we talked about tapping, so you can tap into your third eye. That's another way to open, activate, balance, heal. And then also visualization. So really taking that time to breathe in and out of your nose and open up that visualization process for you and see yourself doing what it is that you want to manifest and then feel it. So that is a way to support you and your energy centers. And here's the thing, like I'm all about like real life shit. And so when I was doing my yoga teacher training is when I started opening back up to like who I am. Like when I was 3, I told my mom I could see air. And so then she told me, no, you can't so many times. So I shut that shit down.
Yeah.
So then I think I was like 36 or 37 when I was doing my yoga teacher training. And all this shit started opening back up. And one day I opened my eyes and I could see the energy lines on the body. And so it also like scared me, right? Because then like I started seeing spirits again. And so then I also am like, and this like real life shit, people like, talk to the universe, your God, whoever, your angels, whoever you talk to. I say all my people. It's like, guide me easily and gently, right? And so I remember when I started seeing all the colors again, and I would be like walking around, having a conversation with you, and then I would see like all your colors, right? And then I'd be like, oh, you're so pretty, and then I would take myself out of what the person was saying. So it wasn't balanced for me, right? So then I had another conversation with whoever is guiding me and my people, and I said, listen, like this is awesome seeing the colors again, but it's taking me out of like reality. And I'm not being present with the people. So what I said was, okay, when I close my eyes, let me see everything in color like that, but when I open my eyes, let me see what everybody else sees. And I did that for years until like maybe 3-4 years ago where I felt like grounded, fully. And then I was like, okay, now let me see it again in color. So now when I look everywhere, there's color everywhere. And also trying to live my body so I can be present with you. Even when I see like some oranges over here or some purples over here or when your people show up. Do you know what I mean? So that's part of it. So remember, like there's no right or wrong way to speak, like to the universe, to God, to your angels, to your spirit guides. You just fucking talk. I curse it, my shit all the time. It's real life. It's real life.
We hit on that a little bit in our podcast that was audio only. Both of them really, what does a spiritual person look like? And also some common spiritual practices. I think we talked about it a little bit in both, where we were talking about like spirituality looks like you. It's not a certain way to do any of it. And that is just like a common misconception, I think, that we think, somebody's going to be sitting in lotus pose, meditating, regardless of what's going on around them, and probably wearing mala beads and those parachutey pants and whatever, and they're gonna, that's not how it is, in real life.
It could be for you if you want to do that.
Yeah, but it's not how it is, no, bar none,
no.
Period, that.
Sure.
That, of course, I love fucking mala beads. They're great.
Yeah,
they're great for use in meditation. But I don't personally wear them, but I have used them for meditation purposes before. But it's just there's no set way for us to be or look.
It is a point of action and feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just and living with intention.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
High five on that.
Bing.
Hell yeah, bitches.
All
right, so what are we going to get to next, baby?
The last one of the day is the crown chakra. The crown is physical areas, pituitary gland, cerebral cortex, and central nervous system.
Yeah, so let's do the 2 finger thing again. So you can start at the base of your hairline, kind of in the center of your head, and then just kind of work your way back, and you'll also feel that dip again, or a hood. And you might feel a little sensitivity. So mine's right here, for those of you who can see. Where's yours, Robin?
It's right here.
Yeah, and so you can massage it.
I think also when babies are born, this is open.
It is. Mm-hmm. It is open. I think it's a year and a half, and it closes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you have a baby, they have that soft spot on top of their head.
Yeah, and so you can massage it, and you can also tap it. Yeah, and again, depending on where your people come from and the shape of your head and your skull, everybody's crown is in a different place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. The color?
Translucent, white. It is kind of going into the spectrum of...
Sometimes people have it as violet as also.
Also, yeah.
It looks a little whitish purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's starting to go into the ethers, right? Where that prism color, when when the atmosphere starts to get dewy and rain starts to come, and you can see that prism in the light.
Right, right. There is not a sound for this one.
Yeah, it continues to be that AUM, just really opening that up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so when our crown chakra is perfect and balanced, nobody's is. What does that look like?
So I want to start with what does it govern? It governs oneness.
Yeah, oneness.
So
pure consciousness. Pure consciousness
and oneness, where you understand, this is also the mantra of that, I understand, where you understand you are connected to everyone and everything. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say that again. Everyone and everything. So no matter
exceptions.
Class, race, who they fucking want as president of the country you live in, it doesn't fucking matter. It's when I look at you, it's I am you are me. Yeah, it's you fucking see it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for me, it's one of the reasons why I became vegetarian.
Mm-hmm.
So it started being where when I ate meat and was eating the flesh, it was like I was eating myself. Mm. So that is one of the reasons why I became vegetarian.
Yeah.
But this, for me, it's whatever you are, but it is that oneness. And so I'm able to look at a bee and understand that I'm connected to that bee. Mm-hmm. I'm able to look at someone across the world and understand that we are connected.
Yeah, for sure. No borders.
Yeah.
Just borderless. And we get really, our world right now is having a problem with this. Big time problem with this, I think. So,
where we're so outside of ourselves that the humanity and also the UK banning fucking pit bulls. Don't even get me started. Yeah. So it's where, right, we have taken out and we are living in a world of separation. Yeah. So this is why I love fucking Gandhi, because he's be the change you wish to see in the world. So if you want to support more love and more fucking oneness in this world, you have to embody it. Versus bitching about what's happening. Yeah. This chakra is about embodying oneness.
Right.
And being in your fucking body.
Right.
To do that.
Right. taking ourselves out of the material world and being able to see the bigger picture outside of the material world.
Yeah.
So that is.
It's beautifully said, actually. It's fucking beautifully said. I love it.
So yeah, because we a lot of us look. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with nice things. I like nice things. You like nice things. We all like nice things. But we also can't, taking ourselves from being attached to them, I think. What is the intention of having them? Are we attached to the things? How attached are we to them?
Do they define you?
And do they define you? Exactly. Yeah.
Because if even anything in your life was taken away, if you define yourself in that, you're going to be lost.
Yeah.
Which is the beautiful practice of non-attachment.
Yeah.
Which is a fucking daily practice, by the way.
Yeah. I think it's so funny that out of all of the chakras, this is the one for me that I have the least problem with. Like, I feel the most balanced in this chakra.
Right, you feel connected to
but that's only, I do. Yeah. And that's only, and that's really only, it's only probably in the recent years, because I used to be really political and very strong in my political beliefs. And I mean, of course, that doesn't mean that you can't stand up for what you feel is right and be active in your community and always, stand up for what you feel is right. But it doesn't mean that you're looking at the other side as different from you,
right?
Because they're not. I mean, they want the same thing. They were brought up completely different than you. Probably they have different values. It doesn't necessarily mean all of the time that they're wrong. Sometimes they might be wrong and misguided, but you have to just take into consideration that that is like every belief system we have is learned. So their belief system is learned, and they may not ever change that. And so don't be attached to that, and don't let that define who you are. I guess I should say that.
Which is part of, it's beautifully said, because it's part of the imbalance of this energy center is where the ego is leading. So the ego is creating separateness.
Yes.
Versus the heart and love consciousness.
I would say that the super ego creates the separateness, because we have an ego that keeps us safe, that we all have and we all need. But like the super ego that I call, I don't know, one of the philosophers called it super ego. I can't remember which one, but I like that term, because there's an ego that keeps us safe, that we all need and we all have because we're human. But then there's the super ego that has this separateness and digs their heels in and doesn't want to learn any new concepts or thoughts, or, has the fixed mindset. And that, I think, is the super ego.
Yeah, for me, it's like about like friending my ego. So I haven't created like the ego or separate ego in my practice, but it's friending it. So understanding when my ego is trying to rule me, or trying to make decisions for me, and also understanding when my ego is like supporting me in like experimenting and experiencing life. For me, that has been
that's another way of looking at it.
For me, it's been
I just gave it
a really good good practice. And it is a lot of people physically have headaches. They have So this is the brain is what's here. And so any issues that you're having with your nervous system,
feeling tired, even if you're sleeping headaches, and you still feel tired, it could be this, depressed, lacking joy in life, weakened immune system. This is another one.
So this is the roof on your foundation. And also in reflexology, let's make sure. So in your big toe right there.
Oh my God.
Right, your little big toe right there. You can massage your big toe because your third eye glands are here. And so you can massage in there. So you might be a little sore. So that's something that you can do. So instead of even tapping or massaging your crown, you can also work on your big toe.
Okay.
Little fun fact for you.
That's fun fact. So also
if you fucking worry all the time, there's also a super imbalance here. I also put in that cord of worrying. It is something for me that I constantly come back to. I trust the process of my life. I trust the flow of my life when worry comes in.
That's a good one.
It's a good one.
We'll take a moment to breathe for that one. because we all worry, right? So the worry, getting rid of the worry, quieting the worry.
Yeah, because when we're worrying, we're living in the future or the past. We're not living in the present, right? So that is just the simplest term when we worry. So that for me is like when worry starts to come into my life, whether it's every day or every other day or whenever it shows up, because it shows up, then it's just like, be here right now.
Yeah.
Okay, what's in reality, what's true right now, Jeanie? So doing reality checks is like really super important.
Yeah. And so, I love that so much. Like what actions can you take today or right now? And if you can't take any, then there's no point in worrying about it.
Right.
There's not. If you can take something, an action, then that's all you can do.
Yeah,
and
for
that's
sure.
Like, so let it go. Let it go.
Yeah, it's so interesting because this is like the house, right? So it completes the house. It's the roof. And so then our roof is also our reality. And so it goes back to that gradients and the energy centers that they all work together because our feelings, our actions, and our thoughts all create our reality.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. So the questions that you could ask yourself to that would point to imbalances related to the crown. Do I crave possessions and sensual pleasures? How can I let go of these cravings? Do I allow myself to be open to my intuition? How can I do this more? What would help me to see the world as a manifestation of the divine? Word. You can stay the fuck off Twitter.
I don't know anything about Twitter, so I know
that Twitter is the devil. I don't understand why it exists. I understand free speech, but the culture of Twitter is awful.
It is talk shit.
It is fucking awful.
That was about
it is shit. Just hate. There's nothing but hate and negativity on Twitter. And if everybody got off of that shit, the world would be a much better place.
Yeah,
it would.
Okay,
that's my soapbox.
That's all right.
I have a Twitter. I don't ever post on it, but I should probably just delete it because I've had it for a long time. I don't ever use it. But I used to follow some of my sports people, and there were some people but it just got out of control, and I was like, I can't watch this. I can't look at this every day. Watch what you're consuming because this will affect everything.
For sure.
All right. The last one is, who am I if I am not limited by this body and mind?
Yeah, limitless. Yeah, full potential.
Yeah.
Which is what most people are afraid of, is their full potential versus keeping themselves small. And this chakra is also about inspiration. So are you feeling inspired? Are you inspired in life? It's about inspiration.
Yeah. And so ways that you can activate or heal the chakra.
Yeah, so eat it, wear it, visualize it. So we'll go with color white since we can't eat or see translucent colors.
Yeah.
So also think about foods that look like the brain, cauliflower.
Walnuts. Yeah.
Yep, it's they're really good to help activate, open, heal this energy center.
And as far as physical practices, meditation.
Yep.
Hands down.
Hands down, get fucking still, even if that's a minute a day. Get with your breath for a minute a day and have that love for yourself.
Yep.
Bam.
Yep. Meditation. That's why the yoga pose that is most directly correlated with this one is the corpse pose or shavasana. So that's the one at the very end of your practice where you lay in stillness.
Which is always the hardest, especially when you first start yoga. It is the hardest fucking pose and practice of everything. I think that's why a lot of people, just like me, I used to go to power yoga because I had so many fucking thoughts in my mind that power yoga helped to shut them down.
It did. Yep, I was the same way. And the really, it's so funny how my yoga has changed. I'm sure it's also because of my physical abilities. I've got some injuries and things now, but also as I have, I guess, gone through the path of yoga, which I've been practicing for over 20 years now. It's hard to believe, but I have gone a little bit away from the more physical ones because I'm able to quiet my mind a little bit more efficiently, I guess you could say, without having to have extreme physical practice. There's nothing wrong with having extreme physical practice, to using that as a way to quiet your mind. A lot of times people will run but all of these are, a lot of people do these things and they see an improvement in their mental health once they start doing these physical practices.
Yeah, we're like dogs. Like, we've got to wear ourselves out in order to quiet the mind.
Right.
And so the more that your mind is going, the more
physical
you need. Especially people, like, depending on what kind of energy that you carry, for sure, in different times in our life. Like, now I can give two shits about power yoga. Right? But before, like, that's how, and I remember, oh my God, I remember, like, having so much judgment when I went through yoga teacher training. It was like, oh, look at me, yoga teacher training. Fuck power yoga. That's not real yoga, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. Yeah. It's like, if you find different ways to help yourself quiet your mind, do that shit. Yeah. Because that's how you open it. Yeah. That's how you open your mind. Quieting your mind will open your mind. And also, quiet mind is an open mind. Yeah, and free of judgment, right? So where you understand, like, the universal love consciousness. This is free of judgment. It's that oneness. And so whatever that is for you. So if that's guided meditation versus self-meditation, fucking do it. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of gimmicks with meditation, and I don't want to say the word gimmick. Some of them I feel like might be gimmick, but a lot of them are just like things that have worked for other people, and they might work for you too. So just try everything. Yeah, something will resonate. Yeah, something will resonate and work with you. A lot of people say, well, I can't meditate. Well, have you tried a guided meditation? Or have you tried yoga nidra? Or have you tried sound baths? Yeah, for sure. That sort of thing. I think I just spit on you. That's okay. Sorry. I spit on you earlier. And so also, I'm a Reiki master, and I don't know how many long ago, like, I started my first Reiki, but, like, learning self-Reiki to self-heal myself. Also, I feel like yoga and Reiki and organic foods, I feel it was my path to who I am today. To help me to love myself more and value myself, and to understand the oneness in life. To learn how to activate my voice and find my authenticity. And so we all have different things in our lives, physical things too, that support this process for us. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was just thinking about the last yoga class that I taught, and there was a woman in it, and at every yoga class, you see people that have difficulty being still. And this was a yoga class for it was actually a trauma. It was a retreat for people that had gone through pretty intense trauma in their lives. And I would say about half of the people could not, like, they were just so fidgety through the whole class. And one of the ladies, and that's normal, that's not uncommon. So I don't want anybody, like, there's no judgment. That's just part of it. But the lady came up to me at the end, and she was really, I just can't get still. I just can't get still. And, like, and I just had to, like, reassure her, the more you do it, the more you will. Yeah, it changes. It changes over time. It changes over time. Yeah. It's not, like, a lot of us have trouble with that in the beginning. We are in a world that values productivity and doing and doing and doing, and add on top of that trauma, because when your mind stills, a lot of times it can be uncomfortable. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Like, let's talk about what might happen when your mind stills. And I think a lot of people avoid meditation because of that. Yeah, because then you start feeling. And then most people are out there avoiding their feelings. Yeah. So meditation, getting quiet, intentional breathing, whatever you want to call it, it gets you into your body and into your feelings. And you are still going to have some thoughts, because that's what our brains are designed to do. So we think that we can't think while we're meditating, but you can absolutely think when you meditate. Eventually, it could be 5 minutes or 5 years. Eventually, they will start to get a little quieter. It's not going to be a scream. It's going to be a talk. And then it's going to be maybe just like a quiet, little, gentle conversation. And then it's going to be a whisper. And then you might get to a point where there's nothing for like
10 seconds and then it's going to come back.
Or a second. But, and also, like, I love that because, like, no matter how long, like, we've been doing meditation, like, every day you show up differently.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I always really talk to people about there's no fucking destination that you're trying to get to. Like, we've created that in the world.
Yeah.
I think part of that productivity, like, we're trying to get somewhere when we meditate because, like, especially, like, if we, like, went somewhere in our last meditation, we're like, oh, I want to go back there again. That was such a cool experience. Like, no, you're not going to go back there again, most likely, because that was your experience then.
Yeah.
So allowing the practice to show up to wherever you are in that moment.
Yeah.
That's like huge when it comes to that.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And just to go back to like the thoughts, sometimes the thoughts we have, like we'll start remembering things that may be hurtful or painful to us.
Yes.
Or we might start realizing things about ourselves that we don't like very much.
Yes.
That is hard too sometimes. But ultimately, it's never going to be something that harms you or is bad for you because it's all growth.
It's all growth.
It's all growth.
And part of that too, like, is where if you're in a class, you know, like that teacher should be able to have enough tools for you to support you.
Yeah.
The coach.
If you don't feel supported in wherever you are, don't go back.
Somebody else. Exactly. Yeah. But it's something that I talk to people a lot, you know, especially when we start to get into deeper of the healing. They're like, well, what if I remember something that, like, I don't want to remember because I put it down. And I said, what I know is you will only uncover what you're ready to based on the tools that you have in your own healing journey. And I know that to be true for my own healing journey. Yeah. And with all of the people that I support over the years. Yeah.
What you will only uncover what you are able to handle based on the tools that you have.
For sure.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
All right. That was a beautiful conversation. I loved talking about that. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And imagine like a lotus flower. So this is also like, you can imagine like your brain as like a lotus flower and just continuing to open and open and open into that limitless possibilities of life.
I love that. I love that. It said that in my little notes too. It had a little picture of it.
Nice.
Which I think is beautiful. Yeah.
Nice.
So next week we will move into the heart space. And why are we doing it again? For one whole thing for the heart chakra?
Motherfucking heart is where it's at. So it is true. We always want to return to love as a consciousness versus an emotion. And the theory is that the heart is the home of all of the energy centers. It is the communication source. So all of the energy centers always come back to the heart and they communicate and then they adjust.
Okay. All right. That'll be beautiful. If you haven't already, help us pay for an editor to get out the dog barking. I don't know how to do that shit, and neither does Jeanie. So anyway, but just like and subscribe and comment any thoughts that you might have. We would love to answer some viewers or listeners' questions too. I would love to start that as a segment. We talked about that in one of the other podcasts, but we hadn't been on video yet. And so if you have questions, just any questions about spirituality or anything that you are like, oh, you know, like, what are some steps I could take for this? Or what should I do about this with my mom? Or what should, I'd love to just have a little segment at the end where we answer a couple questions.
Yeah, I would love that.
That'd be really fun.
Yeah, and also find us, I'm on Instagram at intuitivesoul_coaching retreats. And my website is iamjeaniebaker.com.
And I'm on Instagram at Robbin with 2 B's _web with 2 B's. You can follow me there. I am, I didn't talk about my New Year shit yet. I am going through a period of a little bit of a transition period right now. So I'm just asking you to follow me on my Instagram because I don't know where I'm going next. Yeah. And I love that. Yeah, I am flowing with it and I'm feeling this. I woke up like my whole New Year was like about just like flowing with not knowing. And I feel like a fucking weight has been lifted off of my shoulders because I've just been feeling since I've let it go. Like that was my thing for the new year. Just who cares? Whatever's gonna appear, whatever is meant for you will appear to you.
Yeah.
And that's the way I'm just going. I'm just enjoying my days. I'm waking up, I'm having my coffee, I'm talking to my dogs, I'm going outside and gardening, I'm going to the beach, I'm playing some sound bowls. I'm just doing what
Answering
I want to do.
emails.
Well, also answering, still around.
Yeah.
I'm still answering emails, and taking bookings and that sort of thing. But, as far as like what's next for me, stay tuned.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm staying tuned.
I love that.
I don't know.
And my friends, if I can support your intentional journey, I offer one-on-one healing, coaching, and transformational programs. And also I do women's retreats around the world. And so I have an upcoming retreat in the springtime with my teacher who is amazing. And any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on email or on Instagram and we will connect. It was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. High five.
Bam.
We love you.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Ciao.